Coming up is the second part, the final half of The Spirit of the Serpent, which is a video program I made with Hamish Miller, my dear old mentor, in 2003. Now the reason I'm showing videos like this is because the subtle energy that we find at sacred sites, these ancient sacred sites, is exactly the same stuff as we find in everybody's homes and places of work. And it all ties in with the law of attraction and all of that sort of self-development work. If somebody is out of sync with this sort of energy, then they can be suffering from geopathic stress. But the thing is that geopathic stress can be changed to be life enhancing, it can be positive. And this is where it then ties in with the law of attraction. Because this is a way that we connect, we link in to the manifesting ability of mind over matter. I know that sounds a bit grand, it sounds a bit strange, but that to me is why it is incredibly important, this earth energy stuff, and why really we should all be paying attention to geopathic stress if it does occur in our houses and homes. Anyway, enough of that. So here we are then, the Spirit of the Serpent Part 2, and do remember to subscribe if you like this video. There are many others on the channel, and also do leave a comment. Thanks very much.
It's day 2 of our exploration into the earth energies here at the Merry Maidens in Cornwall, and here with me now is Rupert Sliskin. He's been delving into all the wonderful stories that surround this site. Now Rupert, not even I believe that these were misbehaving maidens that were turned into stone, but it does indicate that our ancestors had been keen to find some kind of explanation for them.
It's really interesting that every different age has its own type of story that goes with it, and the early church was very good at saying that anybody who did anything bad on the Sabbath, this would be what happened to them. There's a nice story in Saxon mythology that 936 AD that this is actually the battlefield where King Athelstan beat the Cornish King Howell. Clearly it's not true. We know that the site's 4,000 years old.
And is there something deliberate going on in terms of the pattern and the size? And
if you look at the site side on, then you get small stones on either side and go to larger in the middle. So it's echoing the sweep of the sun and the planets in the sky.
I hadn't noticed that before, but I can see that.
It is very interesting. But when you think that those alignments could take a long time to actually get accurate. So they would have started, they might have marked it out with wood to begin with, and then progressively added the stones when they were happy with where the alignment had to go.
And has anyone in recent times tried to remove them? I mean, when I say in recent times, in the last couple of hundred years?
Yes, it was repaired in the 1860s. So it was probably very clear at the time where the stones came from, holes in the ground where they'd fallen over. So they're probably quite accurately placed. It's believed to be very accurately placed. But then it was vandalised in the 1980s when some clowns came along and actually tried to nick the stones, I think. And interestingly, they found out when they actually put it back together again, they found that one of the stones had been put the wrong way round. When they repaired it, they'd actually put it the wrong way round. And that makes you wonder how many of the stones have been put the wrong way round. Is there a relevance to the fact that it was originally maybe at 90 degrees? That's quite interesting.
Do you think we'll ever really know the answers to these questions?
Not really.
No? Are you going to show me these other stones?
Yeah, let's go and have a look at this stone. Here it is.
So they were dragged over here for a more practical use?
Yeah, it was a very common thing that the farmers would just rip the stones out of the fields because it was much easier than finding them from somewhere else, just take them out of the site. There's a lovely story actually associated with this site. In 1907, a farmer from England came and bought the land here and thought the field would be more valuable without the stones in it. So they tethered up the horses. The lead horse, when they dragged one stone out, the lead horse reared up and dropped dead when they'd pulled the stone out of the ground, and they thought that was deeply mysterious, so they put the stone back in and left the circle alone. But it's probably just the oldest horse on the farm that had a heart attack.
And what about this hole?
Yeah, it's very interesting. It's something you do see a reasonable amount. It's possible that it could have been a sighting stone, that the sun at a particular time of year maybe shone through and marked a spot, or it could have been a sighting stone that you could see through to a specific point. We don't actually know.
Should we go back and see what the others are up to? So Hamish, is it really Is the earth really crackling for you underneath?
The
It
earth
looks
is
like it.
pulsing. I mean, so much has happened here, and you can see the start of it is that we found out that there are 20 radials like the spokes of the wheel coming out from each stone.
Each stone.
Each stone, and then each stone has a separate spiral around it. The radials go right out way out from the stones, but they don't interfere with each other because they're different frequencies. These are the main radials we've been able to find, and there are 20 of these, one to each stone.
Mm-hmm.
And then they go in towards the centre, and there's a massive spiral at the centre. And I've marked it with the orange stuff.
And does it feel like a positive energy, Hamish?
It's very positive. It's a beautiful balanced feel. You see, this is just the earth. It's a sort of heartbeat or a little synapse in the earth, which is just pulsing away here and waiting for something really important to happen. You can see the wee spiral here starts.
Right.
And actually it goes much tighter. The rope's too wide. It starts with a tiny little spiral and it comes,
Really
and then
tiny.
it starts to come out here. And this is the one that if you start playing with it, it'll either wind up or wind out. We'll do some muscle testing, and it actually affects you. If you step off it and then step back onto it, you can muscle test.
All
And
right.
to do that, we need Jim, who specialises in this sort of thing.
All right, Jim, what are you going to do to me?
is to move away, first of all, from the centre here. So just find a suitable spot for you to come to.
Okay,
Just stand there with your arm out.
this
All
way.
right, and I just want you to resist me.
Okay.
Okay?
I
Strong
will.
as you like. Pretty good. Pretty
Yes.
good.
Uh-huh.
What we're going to do now is move to the power centre
Okay.
and then repeat the exercise. Just stand similar way, but 1 foot either side of that.
Just like this.
Yeah, like that. Just perhaps a little bit further forward.
A bit further forward. Yeah.
Okay. Your arm up like that.
Okay.
Okay. Ready?
Shoulder height. Oh! Amazing. I think you took me by surprise a bit there. Well, I'd like to try that again if you don't mind.
Yeah,
And I'll concentrate on resisting this time. What is that then? How is
What
that?
is it then? Yes, that's it.
What else have you got up your sleeves,
Well,
boys?
Obviously this is a very special place,
Uh-huh.
and there's something quite dramatic has happened since we started working on it, because it's manifested another shape.
You're feeling it?
Yeah.
Just since we've
there
been
is-
here
yeah,
talking
I've just
about
asked if there's anything else here,
Well,
and
you-
I think it's trying to communicate with us because it's just created this thing.
But what's it trying to say?
I
Hamish?
don't know.
Well, let's see
But
what's
if I can
happening.
show you what the shape is, and Barb could probably mark it with this
Comes
very
there.
highly technological system we have with these little candles. Yeah.
I can see how it's coming out.
Can you?
Yes, absolutely. This is rather a wonderful pattern you call Lemniscate of Bernoulli. Now this round here is 4,000 whatever it is BC. This is 17th century mathematics. So it just goes to show it took all that time before we were able to describe these patterns in mathematical form. And that's one shape of a whole class of patterns in that shape which apply to all sorts of stone circles.
Are you excited by this, guys?
I've got shivers all down my spine again.
Yeah.
The power centre had shown as a symbol like an infinity sign. It was exciting, but I was still puzzled by how Hamish finds these things by dowsing. Jim, is there a scientific way that we could get a feel or measure what's happening inside of Hamish's head, I guess, while he's dowsing?
Well, we can certainly have a look at that. We have some new devices that enable us to look at his brain wave patterns. In the same way we look at the Earth patterns, we can look at his brain wave patterns at the same time. And we'll just see what happens.
All right, you're going to go and get that set up for us?
Absolutely, I'll go and do that right now.
All right, while Jim's setting up that very exciting experiment, I'm going to go off and have a word with Julie, our sensitive. So here you are, Julie, and I've noticed that you've been feeling particularly sensitive towards this stone.
From the moment that I entered this circle, this stone and this one drew me straight away.
Why do you call yourself a sensitive? I expected you to be running around with a box of tissues all the time going, I'm terribly sensitive. You seem quite sturdy to me, though.
I use the word sensitive, the name sensitive, rather than psychic or clairvoyant, because unfortunately both those words have got negative connotations. Yes, I am psychic. Yes, I do tune into unseen forces, but I'm not a fortune teller.
You can't read my mind, can you? Oh, she can. I can tell by that look in her face. I'll have to be very careful about what I'm
Only if
thinking.
I'm asked.
Ah, right. You would just tune into that the way you
Yes.
tune into
Yes.
the mind of
Yes.
these stones, I
And
suppose.
everyone can attune to energies. That's the point.
What I'm finding about all of them is I don't feel nearly as reverential as I thought I might feel towards
Right.
them.
I do feel that these stones were put here as a form of respect to the universe. There is definitely a connection between the earth and the cosmos in these stones. I feel personally that they have a strong connection to the moon.
So does each stone have a different personality?
I'd prefer not to use the word personality. They certainly do have a different quality, a different energy. I think the trouble is we do tend to personify these things, and I don't know that that's exactly how it is. They do have a different energy. This one, to me, is very much the communication stone.
There does seem to be quite a lot of sort of negative stories attached to places like this.
I think, to be perfectly honest, I think some of that is fair. And the other interesting thing for me, linking energetically with them, is of course they have been here for thousands of years, so there's a lot to link into. And I've had mental images come to me, people dancing here, and it may have been considered by some section of the society that maybe they were too out of control.
There was too much fun going on.
Too much fun.
So Julie, what other kind of mental pictures are you coming up with?
I do feel there has been some ritualistic work done here, but it didn't seem at all sinister. Maybe something like a marriage.
The purpose of this site has changed over the years.
I think it has changed a bit. I think it was set up as a sacred space to create a vortex of energy, a powerful place. I think the stones like people coming to them.
Well, I'll leave you to carry on your chat. If you come up with any
Thank you very
interesting
much.
revelations, do let us know.
I will.
All right, thank you, Julie.
Yes.
Next, it was time to have a peek inside the mysterious workings of Hamish's brain. This is definitely a bit of a nutty professor moment, Jim. Now, what's happening here?
Well, what we're trying to do is measure his brainwave patterns. And you see these things on his head here, two on his forehead here, and indeed there's an electrode behind each ear. And we're measuring response of both his brain patterns here, right brain, left brain. And what we're going to do is put Hamish in a meditative state. That means he calms down. And in that situation, we expect his brain waves to drop from around 15 cycles a second down to about 2 or 3 cycles a second. And then he will go into a dowsing mode. And what we expect and we hope will happen is that this low frequency will suddenly jump up to around 10 cycles a second. Then we know he's gone into this very concentrated thought pattern. So, shall we try it?
Yes.
Here's the fun bit. Oh, God.
Jim, can I just clarify, that is a raincoat that you're under, yes?
Absolutely
There's
right.
nothing scientific about
Nothing
that
scientific about
covering.
this
Okay.
whatsoever. I'm just trying to see the screen for a start. Ready to start, Hamish. Just go into a quiet mode now. Okay. Ready, steady, go. I've done it. Yes, we've managed to detect Hamish in the meditative mode quite well. There's more activity in that side than there is in that side.
Well, I'm very pleased
And
about
that is the intuitive side.
Yeah.
And that's the logical side. And then what we find is that when you went into the dowsing mode, you had a very strong pattern around 10 cycles a second.
Really?
And that is precisely where I would expect the response to be.
So when Hamish dowses, it seems the right side of his brain takes over and he gets results by using his intuition, rather like Julie. Our 2 days were nearly over, but Rupert had found another connection with the gap in the circle. Now this looks like a monument to me. It feels like a monument as well. It seems very different to what's going on over there, and yet you think they're connected.
Absolutely connected. If again, imagine all these field walls out of the way the landscape would have been, and this is actually on an east-west line straight through the circle. And where there's a big gap in the circle, this just lines up
where
with
the missing
that.
stone is meant to have been.
So it does give you that sense of it is part of that. Maybe it's a sunrise sunset line that they were using, which is why it needs to be so big. So it's clearly visible from there.
So guys, we're coming to the end of our 2 days here, and all the time I've been wanting to pick up on things, because it would be great for all of us if I felt something, and this overall thing I feel the most is energised. Have you experienced what you expected, Hamish?
It's been an amazing 2 days for me, and finding this Lemniscate at the end just intrigues me so much.
I think the interesting thing for me is that when I'm linking in with the energy, I've been very aware that the ancients' mind, the way they think, is not the same way that we think. That they have such an innate sense of unity with the cosmos, and I don't think I expected that at all.
Yes.
And I think it was Yuba that was saying that it's been great, though, just the number of people that
I've
have
been
visited the site while we've
amazed.
been here.
It's been heartening to see families come and walk round and touch the stones and stay. And I know it's a lovely day, but it's been a constant stream. So even to this day, people are intrigued.
What about science? Has it learnt something here?
The more and more I do in this sort of area, the more and more I'm convinced that this has got very strong links to mainstream science via the aspects of consciousness.
Yeah, because one of the remarkable things is actually the extent of the whole site. It spreads out in all directions, and we could be exploring over a broad circumference from here.
Anything else to show us?
What I want to do is this little energy centre here has been pulsing away, and I want to put an amethyst crystal in the centre and ask if there is any reaction to the energy from the earth to the energy of the amethyst crystal.
Rupert's research and Julie's findings both indicate that at some point this site would have been used by the ancients to watch and maybe chart the skies. What is clear from the work Hamish has done is that there is a powerful, subtle energy here even today. This earth energy appears to be magnified by the stones and reacts to other energies within the circle. If the ancients also knew this, then this marked out land would have been very sacred. It would have been a place where they could communicate directly with nature. Perhaps it was a place to ask questions, and even to receive answers. Could this pattern simply be the result of a reaction from two subtle energy fields? Or is there more to it than that? Our exploration will continue at other sites.